Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So I cobbled together this Spider-Man Homecoming interview that Tom Holland and Zendaya did. I know he's dancing here, and that reminds you of Tobey Maguire dancing in Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland's actually a pretty good dancer, but they just talk a little bit about coming together, being new Marvel royalty in this universe. Like now they're teenagers, and Tom Holland is getting ready to be an A-list Avenger, so big deal. And they just confirmed that he signed on for the 2 more Spider-Man movies, meaning they've confirmed that Sony and Marvel will be making a full Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy. So I'll talk about those other 2 movies at the end of this, so enjoy.
Best thing about being Spider-Man? That's such a tough question. I think so far the best thing about it is visiting the children's hospital.
But actually not as...
Oh, but not about me being Spider-Man. Like... Best thing about being Spider-Man. I'm not actually Spider-Man, by the way. I just pretend. Top of the Empire State Building, like King Kong. Spider-Man. Well, I mean, I'm not really an Avenger, so probably Ant-Man. I think I love Paul Rudd. He's such a great guy. We were in Berlin the other day working, and he just showed up in my green room. He just walked in and came and hung out with me for an hour, and he's just such a nice guy. And also, he's so funny in that movie that I think he is definitely my favorite Avenger. How to put a pocket square into a suit. Yeah, I had a bit of a disaster last night. I ended up giving up and just stuffing it in. A club. A dance, like a rave. That would be the worst thing ever. It would just be terrible. My first meeting with Zendaya was very embarrassing, actually, for me.
I don't remember this, but he says that there was some type of awkward hug shake thing.
It was just one of those moments where it just wasn't my smoothest moment.
It was kind of like hey, woo, you know, it was one of those. He's so nice. He's like one of the nicest people I think I've ever met. He's just a good dude. And so that it's really good to see that good things going on for like a good person.
I didn't really know what to expect with Zendaya, and I was excited to see what she was like, and I was so surprised and so happy. She's one of the most professional, hardworking people I've ever met in my life. We were at the screen tests for Spider-Man Homecoming, and we did the first scene together, and I think the producers cast her like then. Before she even left the room, they knew that she was going to play her character.
My character, Michelle, is very awkward and dry and kind of weird a little bit, which is funny because I feel like she is how I feel inside. She's very smart, intelligent. I think she feels like she's a little bit above everybody mentally, and so she just kind of watches everybody, observes, is kind of quiet to herself, reading all the time. She's pretty cool. Who's my favorite superhero? Now, it would sound corny if I said Spider-Man, right? But he is.
Spider-Man. And I'm not saying that now because I am Spider-Man. It's been Spider-Man since I was a little kid.
He's a humble kid, you know, and he had kind of like a little bit of a rough background, and he's a nerd, and he gets picked on, and you know, as you grow up, you find what your purpose is, you find what you're good at, you find what makes you feel powerful, and so that's what he has to do. My
best friend, Harrison, his favorite is Batman, and for years, we've had an argument on who would win in a fight, Spider-Man or Batman. I win every argument now. I'm like, do you know how I know? Because I am Spider-Man, so shut your face.
Tell us about the video of you and Tom doing the choreographed routine.
Oh, well, my friend, her boyfriend kind of came up with this dance challenge, and she was like, hey, you know, would you do it with me? She's like my best friend, you know, and I'm like, yeah, of course. And we were chilling at Tom's house, and we were like, yo, Tom, do you want to do it? And he was like, yeah, for sure. And he's a dancer. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen him, but like, he can freaking spin like no other.
We just sort of had a little dancing session. It was really fun day.
So before I talk about the other 2 Spider-Man sequels, something really interesting happened in that interview. In case you missed it, Zendaya referred to herself as Michelle, as in Michelle Gonzalez, the Spider-Man character who was a love interest for him for a certain period in the comics. I know there was all that news about her secretly being Mary Jane and then just using the Michelle name as a misdirect. That might be what's going on here, because when they were doing this interview, they chironed her and they just say actress Spider-Man Homecoming. They didn't say her character name Spider-Man Homecoming, because I've heard it a couple different ways, but at the end of this, I'll link to the Comic-Con cast interview where the director calls her out as Michelle again, so they just keep calling her Michelle in all the interviews. She has this quote where she talks about her character not being a love interest in the movie, but she doesn't flat out say, "I'm not Mary Jane," but she pretty much says that, so I'm inclined to believe her. But her quote is, "My character is not romantic. She's like a very dry, awkward intellectual, and because she's so smart, she just feels like she doesn't need to talk to people. Like, my brain is so far ahead of you, you're not really on my level." So she comes off really weird, but then Zendaya, addressing her own character, says, "But to me, she is very cool because she's deep. She's always thinking about something, always reading." So that does not sound like any version of Mary Jane that's happened so far. Even the version of Mary Jane that is now or has been Tony Stark's assistant in the most recent Marvel comics. So I am inclined to believe her that she is not playing the Mary Jane love interest in the movie. So you guys can let me know what you think. Do you think that she's basically confirming that she is not Mary Jane in the movie and she's actually going to be the Michelle Gonzalez character? Which I think would also be a really interesting character. It sounds like they have an interesting spin on it, but I think that people would be less inclined to start a riot over her playing Michelle Gonzalez. But just to talk about the two Spider-Man Homecoming sequels, I think we all kind of assumed that they would be doing a new Spider-Man trilogy, but this just confirms it. Tom Holland will be Spider-Man. They'll follow him through high school, Harry Potter style. That's actually the thing that Kevin Feige referenced when he was talking about this version of Peter Parker. Like, we've seen billionaire industrialist playboy, Iron Man. Now we're going to see something like that from a kid's perspective, and that's going to be filled by this version of Spider-Man. So it's not like we're going to see him in high school for 1 year, and then he's going to be like in his mid-20s for the next two films. We're going to see him in his sophomore year in Spider-Man Homecoming next summer. That's when the film is dropping, next summer. So I know there's a lot of question about how he can only go through 1 year of school when like a couple years have gone by in the Marvel universe. Normally the Marvel films move in real time, but I think that's slowly going to stop as they release more and more movies each year. They'll be a little more flexible with their timeline. But thanks to Kevin Feige, they will not have the X-Men continuity problem where none of it makes sense when you all look at it at the end of the day. So even though it sounds weird that we're going to get like a Spider-Man movie every 2 years, but he's only going to age 1 year at a time, don't worry about it. They'll totally explain how it's going to work when they start doing more press for the movie. And I know we're getting ready for a teaser to drop. They haven't confirmed when that's going to happen, but a lot of people seem to think that it's going to be in early December. No worries, if there is something that drops, I will totally do a video for it. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything official about a trailer dropping anytime soon. So the leading candidate, unless they just drop a surprise trailer, would be the Super Bowl next year, which is during February. So because I'll be doing Spider-Man bonus videos for the rest of the year, some of them will focus on those sequels, like the storylines that I think they should do, the villains they should use. Obviously, I think that Norman Osborn should have a presence somewhere in here, even though the Vulture is going to be the villain of the first big movie. I think we'll see all the classic Spider-Man stuff manifest eventually, but I don't think they want to do something that's already been done so many times, like they did Green Goblin during Tobey Maguire era, then they did him again during Andrew Garfield era. So I don't think they want to just keep recycling the same Spider-Man characters. But get hype, be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's a new Legends episode tonight. They're forming the Legion of Doom officially. Reverse Flash, Miami Vice, Legion of Doom. It's going to be so much fun. I'll post that video after it airs. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for that other Spider-Man interview where the director talks about the cast, and you can click here to learn all about Young Justice Season 3. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.